science and technology, and it is well recognized to find out for the advanced development and contribute to the people's well-being. And science and technology is vital for achievement of internationally agreed development goals. For instance, by facilitating efforts to eradicate poverty, you can find out where exactly which community is suffering from poverty, achieve food security, fight diseases, and also improve education. So if you take a survey on education, then also you can find and also respond to the challenges of climate changes. So all these things, all these impacts, all these factors have been facilitated by science and technology, and it has also emerged as an important means for countries to improve productivity, competitiveness, and to create decent work opportunities, thereby finding the problems of the society like these, poverty, food security, fight diseases, education, all these challenges that are there in the society. It can be, you can improve productivity, competitiveness, and to create work opportunities. The problems can be sorted out. The contribution of science and technology to development goals can be created by taking into account in its gender dimensions. So you can see the gender dimensions also. Now, regarding gender, let us come to the next part, that is the gender acquisition. Acquiring science and technology, education and training can empower women in all aspects of their lives. So today we are here regarding the women's empowerment. And so the science and technology, education and training can empower women in all their aspects. Eliminating barriers to women's employment in science and technology fields will further the goals of full employment and decent work. So our focus or aim is the women empowerment economically, socially, everything. So science and technology fields will further eliminate barriers, the goals of, and focus to the goals of full employment and decent work. Gender, now let us discuss about gender. Gender refers to the roles and responsibilities of men and women that are created in our families, our societies, and our cultures. The concept of gender also includes the expectation held about the characteristics, aptitude, and likely behaviors of both men and women, femininity and masculinity. So when you talk about gender, it includes the characteristics, aptitudes of men and women, that is a femininity and masculinity. And gender also refers to the roles and responsibilities of men and women that are created in our families, so our societies, our culture, all these. Gender roles and expectations are learned, and they can change over time, and they vary within and between cultures. Systems of social differentiation such as political status, class, ethnicity, physical and mental disability, age, and more modify gender roles. So there are certain aspects where you can modify the gender roles regarding the status, political status, class, ethnicity, physical and mental disability. The concept of gender is vital because it applies to social analysis. So why we go for concept of gender is you can have an analysis. It can be applied to social analysis. It reveals how women's subordination or men's domination is socially constructed. So we can find out what is happening in the society. Why are the women subordinated, and the men, why is the men dominating that in the social structure? As such, the subordination can be changed or entered. It is not biologically predetermined, or it is not fixed forever. So these subordination and the men's domination can be changed or can be stopped. It is not biologically determined as it is, nor it is fixed forever. Then gender, sex describes, as you know, describes the biological difference between men and women, which are universal and determined at birth. Gender analysis is the collection and analysis of sex disaggregated information. So there is a difference between sex and gender. Sex is a biological difference between men and women, which is universally and determined at birth. But gender analysis, you are collecting information, analyzing of sex disaggregated information. Men and women both perform different roles, as we know. This leads to men and women having different experiences, knowledge, talents, and needs. Maybe their areas of work are different for men and women, so they are different, have different experience, knowledge, talents, and needs. Gender analysis explores these differences, so policies, programs, and projects can identify, meet the different needs of men and women. So these analysis through gender analysis, you can see the differences. So policies, programs, and projects can identify, meet the different needs of men and women in the society. Gender analysis also facilitates the strategic use of distinct knowledge and skills possessed by men and women. So through gender analysis, we can explore the differences of policies, programs, and projects, and also you can know the distinct use of knowledge and skills possessed by men and women. Then let us discuss about women's economic empowerment, which is the main focus here for this today international conference. So access to education is a prerequisite for girls to train in science and technology related subjects. So before getting empowered, either through economic or social empowerment, first and foremost, grassroots level, the education has to be applied. That is, access to education is a prerequisite. It's a must for girls to train in science and technology related subjects. On a global scale, however, many children remain out of school, and in several regions, girls' enrollment at the primary and secondary levels continues to lag behind boys. So when you see at a global level, so when you talk about the education, which is a prerequisite for girls, we will find that in the children there are dropouts, enrollment of girl children is much less. It lags behind boys. The family in the rural areas, they want the girls to stay back at home and work at home. They don't want to send their children to the girl children to the school, so and get educated. So access to education is deprived for girls, if you see at a global scale. So that means they lag behind boys. In many countries, there are hidden costs to education which have a disproportionate impact on women and girls. So in certain countries, you have hidden costs to education which have disproportionate impact. So this hidden cost is having an impact on women and girls, even though it is for women I think in India, women children in the government, they have been given free education. There are so many scholarship facilities, but there are certain countries, there are hidden costs to education, which have a disproportionate impact on women and girls. Families must factor in the opportunity cost of educating a child, in particularly a girl. So families also must factor in the opportunity cost. These costs the families should meet. That is the loss of income if the child can no longer work outside the work or take on responsibilities. In addition, some governments underfund the education sector. There are governments where they don't fund much for the education sector, which leads to private schools fill in the gap and creates a two-tier system, which creates a two-tier system. So which leads so there are governments underfund, which is not fund properly for the education sector, which can lead to the which can lead to coming up of more private schools filling these gap and create a two-tier system where only wealthy students have access to quality education. Failing to educate all girls and boys, however, this has economic consequence both for the individuals and for the country. So this two-tier system is creating an economic consequence both for the individuals as well as for the country. The importance, and now let us discuss about the women's, this is about the education. And we have come to know that there are certain countries, they underfund to the education sector, thereby causing a disproportionate factor to women and children, girls' education. Now let us see how women can be empowered through tourism sector. The importance of women in the tourism sector analyze and evaluate. First is to evaluate. You have to find out, analyze and evaluate the reason for the constraints to women's vertical mobility. So why women are not allowed to grow there or bring or to get into develop their career. What is the reason? You have to analyze and evaluate the reasons for the constraints. Why are they being stopped to for the further development of career, that is the women's vertical mobility, and addresses the issue of how tourism affects their activities. More specifically, it investigates issues concerning the access to natural resources by women. So women have been there are more specifically, it investigates issues concerning the access to natural resources by women. In addition, the new opportunities for income generation, tourist market might provide for women both in informal type employment arrangement and informal sector activities such as handwork, handicraft production. So if the girls, children are not being educated or they have been deprived of education because of the country's policy or due to the family problems, they should be trained enough to work in the informal sector, both in the, they should be trained enough, they should get new opportunities of income generation that the tourist market might provide for women, both in the formal type employment arrangements or in the informal sector activities such as handicrafts. Tourism presents both opportunities and challenges for gender equality and women's empowerment. So in the tourism sector, opportunities and challenges are there for women empowerment. That is, a gender equality is there. Men and women have been treated equally. So there is a chance, opportunities, and it is a challenge also for women's empowerment in the tourism sector. The contribution of women in the business world has increased in recent years, although women are underrepresented in management and leadership. So the contribution of women in the business world has increased in recent years. So we must have found women in getting into different business sector. So thereby there is a huge increase in the economic. There's an economic empowerment among the women for the family, for the country, etc. The contribution of women in the business world has increased in recent years, although women are underrepresented in management and leadership. But even then, they are not much are being represented in the management and leadership sector. In the tourism industry, the percentage of women who work in the industry is high, but their function is dominated by unskilled, low-paid jobs. In the tourism industry, the percentage of women who work in the industry is high, but their function is dominated by unskilled and low-paid jobs. So even though women are allowed to work in the tourism sector, their function is dominated by unskilled and low-paid jobs. They are not being skilled properly. They are not being given training properly. So they are being paid less. The tourism sector definitely provides various entry points for women's employment and opportunities for creating self-employment in small and medium-sized income-generating activities. So the tourism sector is also giving an entry point for women's employment, even if they are being deprived of the management and leadership sector. And opportunities for creating self-employment in small and medium-sized income-generating activities like handicrafts or selling food items for the tourists. So all these are small way where they could earn less. Gender stereotyping and discrimination mean that women mainly tend to perform jobs such as cooking, cleaning, and hospitality. So it is basically hospitality sector that has been given: cleaning, cooking, hospitality. So there is a gender stereotyping where men will be given a different work job, and women have been basically concentrated to perform on cooking, cleaning, and hospitality. Much tourism employment in seasonal and is seasonal. So tourism employment, as you know, it is seasonal. And fluctuates according to the volatile nature of the industry. So now, because of the pandemic, again, the tourism industry is suffering and has suffered a lot last 6-7 months. So tourism employment, first of all, it is seasonal. Then it fluctuates according to the volatile nature of the industry. This is pandemic now. Otherwise, because of political issues, political problems, there is also a problem in the tourism industry. If a strong gender, if a strong if a strong gender perspective is integrated into planning and implementation process, tourism can be harnessed as a vehicle for promoting gender equality and women empowerment at the household, community, national and global level. So this, if a strong gender perspective is integrated into this planning and implementation process. So if gender stereotyping and discrimination is being removed and a strong gender perspective is integrated, is put into the planning and implementation process, tourism can harness as a vehicle for promoting gender equality. So tourism can act as a vehicle for promoting gender equality and women's empowerment in the household, at the household, community, national level, global level. So over the time, they can represent in the management and leadership a huge number of women can represent in the management and leadership. Thereby, they can empower at the household, community, and national and global level. At the same time, greater gender equality will contribute to the overall quality of the tourist experience, with a considerable impact on profitability, quality across all aspects of industry. So, if greater gender equality is being implemented in the planning and the implementation process, then gender equality can contribute to the overall quality of the tourism sector, with an impact on the profit and quality. The quality also can be improved across all aspects of the tourism industry. However, there are a number of conditions under which this potential can be used more effectively. So this can be planned and implemented effectively, and which has a great potential. This requires collaboration of all stakeholders, governments, and intergovernmental bodies, local government, industry, trade unions, local communities, and their different member groups, NGOs, community-based tourism initiatives, etc. So this requires collaboration of all stakeholders. So all the stakeholders should be included: government, intergovernment bodies, local government, industry, trade unions, local communities, and their different member groups, NGOs, community-based tourism initiatives, etc. So you need to collaborate all these stakeholders together and to function effectively, so which will have a potential in the increase of women empowerment in the tourism sector or in any industry. The increased use of the use of tourism potential will safeguarding the natural environment and cultural heritage, and increasing social and economic justice should be the goal of further tourism development. So if you want that, I'm just focusing on tourism. There are other industries also where women can be empowered. The increase of the use of tourism potential while safeguarding the natural environment. So when the natural environment or the cultural heritage or increasing social and economic justice, if you focus on that, you should increase the use of tourism potential or any other industry, thereby the goal of further development of any industry. Now we are discussing about the tourism industry. Thank you. I think I will conclude with this. This is, I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Thank you so much. This is what I have collected, and then I have come to the conclusion that women can do so much in all the industries. Thereby, they have been empowered, and also the society can be progress very well in future. Thank you. Can we go ahead with the next program? Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Can
Hello,
you hear me?
madam. This
Yes.
is Dr. Lakshmi Devi from Department of Women Studies and the chairperson. So your talk was very nice.
Thank
you. It has enlightened all the angles. So I request to the participants to present their papers. There are 20 papers.
Okay.
Some of them are raising their hands. So, Shilpa, you can present your paper. Shilpa. If Shilpa has not there, one more. Vidushi Rana has raising the hands. Vidushi or Amita Rani. Vidushi or Amita Rani. Can you hear me? Vidushi?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Yeah, ma'am, I can.
Yes, you can present your paper.
Okay. Very good afternoon to everybody. Myself, Tarani, research scholar from Gulbarga University, Kalaburgi, and my co-author is Shinde Jagannathar, Professor and Chairman, Department of Studies and Research in Sociology, Gulbarga University, Kalaburgi, and I am here presenting my paper on impact of COVID-19 pandemic on transgenders from Kalaburgi district. Introduction. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic had a significant impact on the transgenders community. These Asians have faced increased discrimination in the country. In this time of crisis, the most vulnerable members of the society suffer exclusively. Transgender represent one of the most vulnerable social groups who for some years have been one of the World Health Organization key populations for the HIV global epidemic, as they experience increased impact and significant barriers to healthcare access. Key populations, including transgenders, are recognized by WHO and the Global Fund to fight AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria as experiencing widespread stigma, discrimination, state and non-state violence, and harassment and criminalization of behaviors or practices which all shape decreased access to services. COVID-19 effects on the health and socio-economic status of transgenders based on observation of healthcare providers and program implementers of sexual health programs for transgenders. Transgender seniors are also most likely to encounter isolation and therefore other health issues. National health organizations have warned that some members of the transgender may be particularly vulnerable to the effects of the disease. Reasons for the increased risk include higher rates of cancer, HIV, smoking, as well as healthcare discrimination. There are also concerned about reduced support for transgender people, particularly those who are homeless and unsafe family environment. Many transgender dating websites have shared ways to prevent coronavirus infections. Term meaning of transgender. This term is used to describe someone whose gender identity or expression does not conform to what is expected based on the sex they were assigned at birth. Gender expression is the behavior, mannerism, interest, and appearance a person uses to express their gender in a particular cultural context. The term gender encompasses many different gender identities, and transgender people have different sexual orientations. Some may identify as straight, others may identify as transgender. Objectives of the study: to identify the transgenders' vulnerabilities from Kalaburgi district, to know the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on transgenders. Third one, to finding health conditions, fear, discrimination, food insecurity, and psychological reactions of transgender. Methodology: semi-structured telephonic interviews were conducted with the 40 transgenders residing with the snowball sampling techniques used for survey, and secondary data was collected through the secondary sources like websites, report articles, newspaper. This survey conducted from 1st September to 15th October 2020. The researcher provides a free telephone psychological support for transgenders in Kalaburgi district, Karnataka, India. Respondents had called to seek psychological support, and brief interviews were conducted with their consent. Interviews were transcribed, qualitatively coded, and analyzed using thematic content analyzers. Limitations of the study: a only, so using of telephonic mental health support limits the participants of this transgender individual better health seeking behavior. Results: in this survey, 75% of the respondents identified them as a transgender, and 25% of the respondents had self-identified as gays. All respondents were almost equally represented from urban areas, semi-urban areas. Key themes emerged from the data are health literacy, health conditions, fear, stigma, discrimination, and decreased access to healthcare, food insecurity, and psychological reactions. Social vulnerabilities: it is important to note that home may not be a safe place for many individuals, particularly transgender individuals. Many transgender people experience conflict or rejection from their families due to their gender identity. For instance, more than 80% transgender people who say that the relationship with parents is conflicted. Based on the data from the Kalaburgi district, we estimate that 75% transgender adults have experienced intimate partner violence in their families. Official orders to mitigate the spread of a coronavirus, like stay-at-home orders, may place transgender people in a situation where they must shelter with family members who do not accept their gender identity, and may place transgender people at added risk for intimate partner violence. Health literacy: many transgender people in India lack of education. Out of total 34 respondents had studied till 8th grade, 4 studied till 8th grade, and 2 had studied graduation. Most of 36 were not aware of precautions for preventing COVID-19 infection. Correct source of information for COVID-19 and treatment centers: most of our community members are not educated, and hence awareness or precautions for preventing coronavirus infection is limited. Transgender women, a brief that coronavirus cannot affect us influence adherence to preventive measures. 2 respondents describe we live together almost 6 to 7 in one room. Maintaining physical distancing is difficult. Many among us have a cough and cold but are not aware of correct practices. I know, being a discipline, no one listens to me. Transgender health, transgender person health conditions. The total of transgender suffer from chronic conditions like diabetics, asthma, TB, or HIV. It is added that more than half of the respondents consumed tobacco and alcohol, which make them more vulnerable to COVID-19 infection. Fear, stigma, and discrimination. Members of the transgender community have expressed their fear at not being able to physically isolate. In India, many in this community already had serious healthcare challenges related to HIV, and now older transgender people who are at a greater risk of coronavirus infections are feeling extremely vulnerable given the lack of gender-friendly healthcare facilities. Decreased access to healthcare. During the COVID-19 pandemic situation in India, health system focuses largely on the sexual health of transgender with little thought given to their other health needs. Nevertheless, in crises such as this, even sexual healthcare services take a back seat as efforts are diverted to responding to the immediate emergency. As access to general healthcare is reduced, especially sexual health services including HIV prevention and treatment, the effect on transgender will be manifold. The situation is likely to be worsened in rural areas where health services are just limited to health centers and hospitals. Many transgender women living with HIV are experiencing severe impacts on their livelihood. Food
Amita,
insecurity, psychological reactions. Most respondents expressed psychological symptoms such as fear of COVID-19 infection, anxiety, suicidal ideation. 5 respondents had fear of death due to not accessing ERT. Many of them live in the COVID-19 hotspots, which have excessive fear of COVID-19 infection. Transgender individuals in India would be considered transgender women in the United States. Many countries use equivalent terminology to the transgender communities have strict hierarchical structure which is different from general society. Discussion. Transgender friendly healthcare services in India are largely remain distant dream. Health workers in India continue to treat gender inconvenience with the sex assigned at birth as a psychological deviation or a consent. Consent. Okay, I will conclude my paper. Transgender community continues to experience discrimination in healthcare services and which are more amplified during public health emergencies like COVID-19. Eventually, their right to healthcare is neither respected and protected nor fulfilled. Access to adequate healthcare is a fundamental human right that is critically important. In times of a public health crisis such as this, consequences of denial of health rights are extensive. Accidentally, definitions of vulnerable groups are changing changing. Besides elderly people, those with ill health and homeless or underhoused people, transgender population who struggle to keep financially, mentally, or physically with the crisis are also vulnerable, require attention. Essentially, we are arguing that access to basic healthcare services, food security, mental health, psychological support to the transgender community in crucial times in COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you. Thank you all of you for giving me an opportunity to present my paper. Thank you very much.
thank you. Now, Ashwini, Dr. Ashwini KJ has raised her hands first. So, I would like to call Dr. Ashwini KJ to present her paper. Ashwini? Ashwini?
Yeah.
Is it audible, Ashwini?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Can I present my paper? Can I share my PPT now?
Yes, whatever you comfortable.
Okay, fine. Is this okay? Is this PPT is visible, ma'am?
Yeah. No, no, not yet.
Now?
Mhm.
Of the what is that women said they are not at all happy with the street vending profession. So when I just did the Garrett ranking, so the rankings has been taken based on some few factors that has been identified through the review of literature. That is financial resources, profit, timings, experience, freshness, place of selling, face of competition, difficulties, vehicle facilities and satisfaction. And I've taken all these criteria. Among these factors, when I apply the Garrett ranking, financial resources is find the first or the major important factors, which is more influencing to women to take part in the street vending, along with the place of if they find some circle or some, what is that, the junction, which is where the men and material is that street vending. Afterwards, the other factors like freshness of fruits and vegetables, vehicle facilities, profit, competition, and difficulties faced in the street vendings are the important factors which is making the what is that women in the street vending. So the conclude here, I want to conclude is the women is the most vulnerable group, and especially for the street vendors, they are highly informal. They cannot access all kind of the what is that financial facilities how the formal sector is getting. And along with that, so women is facing highly health issues, like because she's standing or she's roaming in the what is that in the locality by what is that taking the weights on her head, that health is deteriorating, and most of the women's are facilities are providing in the under the Street Vending Act. Even they don't, most of the women, they are not aware about the Street Vending Act at all, and whatever the facilities they can get out of the government. So the government should suggest, along with the NGOs, here are some suggestions based on my observations or based on the studies, primary data that I have collected. The government and the NGOs should launch a suitable program and address the women street vendors problem. Government should give a organized recognition to the women street vendors. The government should provide the loans to lowest interest rate for the street vending activity. Government should support by giving the welfare program for women vendors, women street vendors. Government and NGO should give a transportation facility to the street vendors. The government and NGO should do awareness program to the street vendors to avail the benefits from the existing program. So thank you. I like to end up this session. Thank you.
Dr. Shilpa Bhimrao Gaonkar. Her topic is the missing women of India, a cause of concern. Shilpa is there? Yes. Shilpa is sharing her screen. Is it Shilpa? Yes. Shilpa.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
This is only Shilpa D, not Shilpa.
Shilpa.
Shall I start the presentation? Dr. KP Veena and Ms. Shilpa D.
Okay. You can.
This is not my slides, ma'am.
Then?
This is not my slides. Shall I start with without PPTs?
Yes, you can.
Okay, ma'am. Very good afternoon, one and all.
Hello, ma'am. Hello. I am Shilpa Gaonkar, actually.
Are you sharing now?
Okay, let Shilpa, the other Shilpa ma'am,
Yes.
complete
After
her
Shilpa
presentation.
completed.
Let her complete her presentation, if she is willing to.
Yes, Shilpa Gaonkar.
Yeah, this is Shilpa Gaonkar.
Yes. Is there Shilpa? Another Shilpa? No. She's not online. If she's not there, Shilpa Gaonkar, you can present your topic, paper. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yeah.
A very good afternoon to the respected resource person and all my fellow participants. I am Dr. Shilpa Bhimrao Gaonkar, Assistant Professor of Economics, working at Government First Grade College, Kamalapur, Karnataka State, Kalaburgi District. I would like to thank the organizer and the resource person for giving me an opportunity to present my paper on the missing women of India, a cause of concern. To begin with, I would like to quote, "The happiness of a nation lies in the dignity of its daughters." The New York Review of Books in 1990, written by Nobel laureate Professor Amartya Sen, drew the attention of the world to the less thought of issue of the missing women for the first time. He estimated nearly 100 million women missing globally in 1992. You can see to your right, the Hindu estimates that India is at the topmost ranking with 11% of overall female under 5 mortality rate. We are at the topmost slot. Sen had calculated that excessive female mortality accounted for a 6 to 11% deficiency in the total number of women, revealing what he called it as a terrible story of inequality. This problem is widely witnessed in continents like Asia, Middle East, and African continents. The 2020 UNFPA, the State of the World Population released by the UNFPA report, shows that the number of missing women at birth across India and its states, to identify the reasons behind missing women and list the consequences and the measures taken by the government, analyzed, and lastly, to find possible solutions to this issue. My paper is prepared basically based on secondary data. What is missing women actually? The concept. The term missing women for the first time was coined by Professor Amartya Sen. It refers to the shortfall in the number of women relative to the expected number of women in the region, widely measured by the sex ratio. The sex ratio at birth refers to the number of males per 1,000 females of population. You can have this graph where the sex ratio from 1901 to 2011 has been declining in India. In 1901, it was 972, and which has seen a steep fall of 940 in 2011 and 910 in 2020. Missing women and the Indian states, if we look at our states, how the states are performing, the best performing states are West Bengal, Kerala, and Chhattisgarh. The worst performing ones to be Uttarakhand, Haryana, and Delhi. And Chhattisgarh has reported the highest sex ratio of 958, while the lowest with 840 of Uttarakhand. These are the reasons why the sex ratio is low in India. Firstly, the existence of patriarchy. Second, maternal mortality rates are high. Female infanticide, dowry system exists in our society. The advent of technology and advancement in the field of diagnostics, especially the ultrasound sonography facility, which allows to determine the sex of the child before its birth. The liability on the parents. This is a stereotype in the minds of the Indians. Declining fertility rates, cultural mechanisms, traditions, and values. Professor Amartya Sen quotes, "There is a considerable evidence that women's education and literacy tend to reduce the mortality rates of children." What are the government measures to curb this sex determination and adverse sex ratio? I would like to quote an example of Rajasthan, where a ruthless practice of putting sand into the nostrils of a newborn female baby so that she chokes and dies. You can see this practice widely in Rajasthan. How can anybody justify this heinous act? Dowry Prohibition Act was implemented in 1962 to curb cases and deaths due to dowry. 1994, the Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques PC and PNDT Act was implemented to curb sex determination. You can see this board displayed in all the diagnostic centers. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao initiative in 2009 was implemented with the objectives of preventing gender-biased, sex-selective elimination, ensuring the survival and protection of girl child, and ensuring education and participation of the girl child. Prime Minister Professor Narendra Modi. You can see the logo, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Now, how many more missing daughters shall India have? This can be reduced only when we can take these following steps. Dedicate more resources to fighting the preference for boys, regulation of the import of ultrasound machines, implement the PCPNDT Act more stringently, increasing women's economic rights and opportunities, providing or increasing female literacy, and economic empowerment of women. To conclude, I would like to say, men are in surplus at present. Renuka Chowdhury, the then Minister of Women and Child Development in 2006, described this phenomenon as a national crisis, and truly it is a national crisis. The decline from 945 in 1991 to 927 to 918 to 910 in 2020 is an alarming situation. The decline in the sex ratio is a major indicator of women's disempowerment. If the imbalances created due to these age-old practices and traditions are not managed and overcome effectively, then our next generation would see fewer girls. It is a serious cause of concern. With growing literacy, stereotypes, economic empowerment of women is the need of the hour. A well-coordinated and convergent effort is needed to ensure the survival, protection, and empowerment of girl child. Thank you.
Shilpa D. Shilpa, are you there? Now I would Anna. Vidushi? Vidushi?
Hello?
Yes. Is it Vidushi?
Yes, it's Vidushi.
You can.
I just want to say that due to some technical issues, I'm not able to present my PPT. So I'll just brief about the paper.
Yes. Sure.
All right, thank you. So good morning all. I'm Vidushi Rana. I'm a student of International Business Economics and Finance at Gokhale Institute, Pune. Today I would like to present my paper on women, human capital in global era. This paper primarily reviews how education, health, empowerment, and economic development together creates a virtuous cycle. Women capital is distinctively different from tangible and monetary assets due to its extraordinary characteristics to grow uniformly over a long period of time, where the growth of tangible assets is not always linear. There are several reasons that contribute towards low economic development, and the most important among them is an inadequate allocation of human resources. The idea of human capital can be traced back to 18th century Adam Smith's book, Wealth of Nation, where he formulated the basis of human capital. The theory was popularized by Gary Becker, an economist of University of Chicago, Jacob Mincer, and Theodore Schultz. These theory emphasized greatly on the importance of human capital in economic analysis and believed that without inclusion of such a theory, explanation of economic growth and personal income distribution is incomplete. The growth theory of our global economy has left a key demographic, women. Women are key contributors, however, they are indirect contributors towards growth. When we debate on the importance of human capital, especially women human capital, it is essential to note that allowing women to develop their full labor market potential can produce sustainable macroeconomic gains. So organizations like World Bank and IMF have also analyzed the growth in human capital with a strong emphasis on gender gaps and women participation. Key takeaways from their analysis is that an improved human capital can transition the economy from low education and poor health to high education and good health, hence a sustained economic growth. Countries have also contributed and implemented new and effective provisions in policies like corporate policies and public policies to expand inclusion of women and eradicate various gender related barriers. Therefore, investing in women human capital is in intensifying era of increasing global economic relations can derive economic benefit. Another two major factors playing a role in augmenting growth are education and health. Education is acknowledged as a powerful means to eradicate serious problems. It helps in developing major life skills that can help in adapting in the changing environment and competing in a male dominant society. It helps them make decisions and also contribute towards growth. Health, on the other hand, is considered as a life approach that includes improvement in diet and exercise to improve women long-term health outcome. These important linkage between nutrition, health, and development has led countries to invest more in the healthcare industry. World Economic Forum publishes Global Gender Gap Index and Women Capital Index. The report the, re- The report published that economies that have both high human capital and low gender gaps indicate that there is an even spread of opportunities. In countries like India, where human capital is low and gender gaps are wide, and uneven human capital development is there across gender lines. These gender gaps harm the desired growth by constraining the potential pool of human capital. To tackle huge disparities, policymakers see financial inclusion as an important factor. Foreign trade also contributes vastly towards growth of human capital as it opens up numerous job opportunities, dedicated investment on human resources, including women human capital. There is also no sustainable economic growth without women empowerment. That is one of the key major indicators for economic growth. A major indicator of women empowerment is their participation in the workforce. The woman entry in the workforce undeniably boosts her bargaining power. Drawing on macroeconomic, sectoral, and firm level data, a recent IMF study conducted suggested that men and women complement each other in the workforce in terms of different skills and attitudes. To promote sustainability, behavioral economics suggests an effective theory called nudge theory. Behavioral science and nudge theory have repeatedly used to make difference in gender equality. These behavioral nudges can improve the corporate environment, help achieve collective goals, and encourage positive employee behavior. One such example of positive nudge prevailing in the society is reserving seats for women in schools and colleges in India. This principle of nudge is to motivate women to come forward and avail proper education and participate towards betterment of society. There are many countries who have been working rigorously towards increasing women human capital. According to the World Economic Forum's annual gender gap report, Iceland ranked first for gender equality, where over 80% of women make up the part of the workforce. New Zealand, on the other hand, with a credible woman leader, the government works tirelessly to create an environment where women can grow and succeed. Along with countries, big companies like General Motors, for instance, has launched a partnership with startups called Girls Who Code and also Black Girls Code. These are the two non-profit organizations led by women that help inspire, educate, and equip more girls with computing skills, which reduce the increasing digital gender gap. Another is the Tata Group, as they have come forward with a proposal of setting up a manufacturing plant which aim to be a 90% all-women company. There has been a notion that women are better suited in unpaid housework and are too weak to step up in the corporate world as they have that has posed as a constraint towards growth. This mentality can change with higher economic policies. For both economic and social reasons, providing equal access to opportunities and finance will promote female inclusion and would raise GDP and reduce unemployment. Therefore, a strong message portrayed by the means of this paper is to recognize the need to make gender equality a critical part of human capital in development models, ensuring that women receive equal access to education and diverse work opportunities will also be a critical element towards safeguarding growth. Thank you.
Hello, Suhil. Is it audible?
Ma'am.
Yeah, you can present your paper, Study on Women Entrepreneurs, Development, Special Reference to Mysore District. Suhil.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
1 second, I will share my screen, ma'am. Only 1 second, ma'am.
Yeah.
आजा आजा कुछ नहीं अभी मेरा टाइम है आने का.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and chairperson, respective chairperson of this session. And today's my paper title is a study on women entrepreneurship development with special reference to a Mysore district. And this is a joint paper prepared by Dr. C. Mahadev Murthy, an associate professor in KSAWUV Mysore, and myself, I am a Suhil. I am a research scholar. And these are all the contents included in my studies. The first one is the introduction, review of literature, objective of the study, research methodology, data analysis and interpretation, finding of the study, suggestion of the study, and conclusion. These are all the contents of my study. First, I will go for the introduction. The government, both central government as well as the state government, in order to develop the human entrepreneurship, they are bringing so many kinds of policies as well as they are bringing so many kinds of loans, economic benefits, financial benefits, like every benefits that both state government as well as the central government they are providing. But fortunately, still the women entrepreneur, the women are not ready to came up with in order to start up their own business organization because of some reasons, because of personal reasons as well as their motivating factors. Still, so many women are not ready to start up their business. They have some ideas, they have wonderful ideas with them, but they have some bias in order to start up their business. It might be a family background, it might be any social background, still they are hesitating to start their business. For that reason, when comes to my papers, the whatever the humans they have started the business, which factor they have motivated them in order to start up their business. When comes to the review of literature, a lot of research has been conducted regarding human entrepreneurship development over the last few decades. The present study reveals several articles pertaining to the study as follows. The study reviewed several articles pertaining to human entrepreneurship development, such as motivating factors, personal constraints, become the women entrepreneurs to achieve success in their business. Some of the studies also conducted on inside and outside abroad countries. The purpose of this paper is to discuss the issues and to know about the supporting element in human entrepreneurship development. The objectives of the study to analyze the human entrepreneurship development. Second one is to know the participation level of human entrepreneurship. That is nothing but a demographic level. Third objective is to analyze the motivating factor and personal constraints of human entrepreneurs. When it comes to the research methodology, here I've used both the study is both primary as well as the secondary data I've used. When it comes to the primary data, here I've collected the primary data by using the questionnaires. Um, here total 100 respondent I've taken in Mysore district. In order to analyze the data, I've used certain studies. Chi-square test, t-test, one-way ANOVA test I've used in order to analyze the data. When comes to the secondary data was collected from the research publication in books, journal, and periodicals. For the secondary data I've used, these are all the source. And these are all the tables are included in my study. These are all the tables included in my study. The first table, it shows the demographic profile of the respondent. The second table, it shows the motivating factors. The third table, it responds the personal constraint. I will go for the first table now. The first table, it's a demographic profile. When it comes to the demographic profile, the majority of the respondent, they will come under 25 to 35 years. It clearly shows the 31 the respondent they will come under 25 to 35 years, and the majority of the customer, the majority of the respondent, it means 58 respondent are married. It means it clearly shows the government as well. The government, they have to pay much concern about the widows as well as the unmarried women. And some of them, they have a work experience. Nearly 56 respondents, they have work experience. After quitting their job, they have started their own business. It clearly tells the women, after getting certain experience regarding the experience, they will going to start up their own business. It clearly shows like that. It's above 50%. It means nearly 56% respondents, they have a work experience. After working, they have started their own business. And when it comes to the family type, there's nearly 74% of the 74% of respondent family, they have comes under the nuclear family. Only 26% of the family, 26% of the respondents, they have come up with the joint family. It clearly shows if any woman, that too especially in a joint family, if they want to start up their own business, means there is a lot of problems will come in the family side. Uh, there are lot of problems will comes into the family side. It means the family people, they will not going to allow them to in order to start up their own business. It clearly shows that only 26 respondents, they have started their own business uh, compared to the nuclear family. When it comes to the category of business, uh, first generation entrepreneurs, it means women, they have started the business, means that is the only 34. The parents as entrepreneur, means if they are parents, if the parents have already started the business, the women are there taking care of that business. The that kind of a business entrepreneurs are 35. Type of entrepreneur, it means 14 respondents, they were majority of the respondent, it means 15 respondents, they have opened beauty parlor. After the 14 respondents, they have started the medical and general stores. And sources of fund, the nearly 52, it means majority of the respondent, they have borrowed the fund. They have borrowed the fund in order to start up their business. I will go to the next table, that is a motivating factor. When it comes to the motivating factor, economic independence, dissatisfaction with the current job, unemployment, availability of infrastructure, social status, being entrepreneur was lifelong goal, responsibility to run business due to death of the member, seeking challenges business venture. These are all the these are all the factors that has been rejected. When it comes to the hypothesis, these are all rejected. Here the null hypothesis has been rejected and the alternative hypothesis has been accepted because of the the fact because of the alpha value is less than the 0.05. For that reason, here the null hypothesis has been rejected and the alternative hypothesis has been accepted. Only family business passed on to me, that is null hypothesis has accepted and alternative hypothesis has been rejected in this table. When it comes to the third table, that is a personal constraint. Here also, except a lack of motivation, and these hypotheses have been rejected. The rest of the thing, when it comes to the rest of the thing, you can see in this you can see in the slide, those slides, the null hypothesis has been rejected and the alternative hypothesis has been accepted in next variables. I will move on to the findings of this study. When it comes to the findings of the study, the majority of the respondent, means 58% of the respondent, are married. After marriage, also they are engaging in economic activity. It clearly shows after marriage they have when any woman they have marriage means they have a lot of responsibility when it comes to the family sides also. After marriage also they are ready to take up they are ready to start up the business and they are ready to take up the responsibilities. It clearly shows. The 78 respondent, they are saying this is the main sources of income, and the majority of the respondent, means 51 per respondent, they are telling in order to become an economic independence they have become entrepreneurs. Majority of the respondent agree because of dissatisfaction of a current job they have become an entrepreneur. It means majority. It clearly shows and tells the majority of the respondents, they are telling whatever they have previously they have working no, in that job they have not satisfied. For that reason they have quit that job and they have become an entrepreneur. The majority of the respondents telling they are suffering lack of motivation and confidence. As I told you, when it comes to India, the government they are giving the lot of benefits to the entrepreneur in order to develop human entrepreneurs. But what is the main problem in humans means that is a motivating factor. Still, when it comes to the family also, still when it comes to village side, the family they are not allowing to start up any kind of a business for women in a village side as well as the in city urban side also we can see. Still in urban side also we can see the few people are not allowing to in order to start up any kind of a business for women. When it comes to the suggestion, the the majority of the respondents are graduate and postgraduate. The government has to concentrate on those who have studied up to school and illiterate people. The government they bring the post people. It's clearly it means they have to already when it comes to educated people they will go, they don't have any bias. Already they have motivating themselves. The government they have to take certain steps regarding the illiterate people in order to motivating them. The next thing, it is clearly so the next suggestion I would like to give, the government and supportive institution, they have to give much importance the first generation entrepreneurs, then we can see the new entrepreneurs. When it comes to my study, the majority of the respondent, it means the majority of the 66 more than 60% of the respondents, they have business. The family member they have started their business. Or the majority of the 60% respondent, they are taking care of their past business only. Only nearly it means 30% of the respondent they have the first generation entrepreneurs. For that reason, government they have to give much importance to the first generation entrepreneurs. It means they have to give the motivate, the government they have to motivate them. Finally, I will conclude my topic. When it comes to the uh, women entrepreneurship, as we know, women's also they're contributing so much for the economy, so much for the economy. Still, the women can contribute so much for the economy. The government they are also giving so much of uh, subsidies in order to start up any kind of a business organization. They are also giving the financial financial benefit also. But what is the problem means the family problem as well as their personal problem. They don't have they don't have confidence among them only. For that reason, still so many women are they are not ready to become an entrepreneur. For that reason, the government what they have to do means the government they have to take up certain uh, take up certain action regarding in order to motivating the women women in this era. Thank you for given opportunity in order to present my topic, present my paper. Thank you, everyone. I will.
Thank you, Suhil.
Thank you.
Now I conclude and I will start next session. The session will be start at 12. Sorry. Yes, after lunch, no? Okay.
Thank you,
We'll
ma'am.
meet next
Thank
session.
you for handling this session. The next session will start now only. I would like to thank Professor Binu Thomas, ma'am, chairperson of this session, and Dr. Lakshmi Devi, ma'am, rapporteur of this session. Thank you, ma'am. Now, next session will start now. Session number 4. The chairperson of this session. Chairperson of this session, Professor B. Revati, ma'am. Now I would like to introduce the chairperson of this session, Professor B. Revati, ma'am, Professor, Department of Commerce, Manonmaniya Sundaranar University, Tirunelveli, Tamil Nadu. Ma'am has more than 30 years of teaching experience and 28 years of research experience. Ma'am also has administrative experience as a member of Women Welfare Committee, Director of Center for Women Empowerment and Women Studies, Deputy Director Academic of the Manonmaniam Sundaranar University Tirunelveli, syndicate member of that university, and also chairperson of various departments. And ma'am has a guided 67 MPhil and 23 PhDs. Ma'am has presented various papers in national and international seminar conferences. She has published research papers in various esteemed journals and edited books. And ma'am has also completed research projects, and now ma'am is a life member of Association of Economists of Tamil Nadu. So once again, I heartily welcome Professor B. Revati ma'am for this technical session. Welcome, ma'am. The rapporteur of this session, Dr. U.K. Kulkarni, Associate Professor, Department of Education, Karnataka State Akkamahadevi Women's University. I welcome, sir. Now, the session is handled to the chairperson and rapporteur. Over to you, ma'am. Please start the session. Thank you. Revati ma'am, please unmute.
Good afternoon to everybody. Foremost, I thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Registrar, and all the authorities of Karnataka State Akkamahadevi Women's University for this nice opportunity. My special thanks are due to Professor Madhuri, Dr. Gangshetty, Chairman, Department of Economics, Professor Suresham, Organizing Secretary of this two-day virtual international conference on economic empowerment of women, global issues and challenges. Empowerment of women is the need of the hour, especially during this pandemic situation. Domestic violence against women has increased during this COVID-19. Let me congratulate the Department of Economics for having chosen an appropriate title for this virtual international conference. Let me start my presentation with a quote. When God spent more time to shape women, angel questioned God, why spend so much of time on her? The Lord answered, have you seen all specifications I have to meet to shape her? She must function all kinds of situations. She must be able to embrace several kids at the same time, have a hug that can heal anything from an injured knee to a broken heart. She must do all this with only 2 hands. She cures herself when sick, can work for 18 hours a day. The angel came closer and touched the woman. But you have made her so soft, Lord. She is soft, said the Lord. But I made her strong. You cannot imagine what she can endure and overcome. Can she think? The angel asked. The Lord answered, not only can she think, she can reason and negotiate. The angel touched her cheeks. Lord, it seems this creation is leaking. You have put too many burdens on her. She's not leaking. It is the tears the Lord corrected the angel. What is it for? Asked the angel. The Lord said, tears are her way of expressing her grief, her doubts, her love, her loneliness, her sufferings, and her pride. This made a big impression on the angel. Lord, you are a genius. You thought of everything. A woman is indeed marvelous. Lord said, indeed she is. She has strength that amazes a man. She can handle troubles and carry heavy burdens. She holds happiness, love, and opinions. She smiles when she feels like screaming. She sings when she feels like crying, cries when happy, and laughs when afraid. She finds strength to get on with life. She fights for what she believes in. Her love is always unconditional. See the slide? The slide picturizes the multiple roles of women. Can you give the expansion of women? W stands for a wonderful mother. O, outstanding friend. M, marvelous daughter. A, adorable sister. N, nicest gift to men from God. Women is always a beautiful creature, the gift of God to men. Women is powerful beyond measures and beautiful beyond description. It's not easy to be a woman. A woman is always priceless. Swami Vivekananda, one of the greatest sons of India, quoted that there is no chance for the welfare of the world unless the conditions of women is improved. It is possible. Is it possible for a bird to fly on with only one wing? Thus, national prosperity is not possible with men alone. There must be equal participation of men and women for the development of the nation. Therefore, inclusion of women empowerment is one of the primary goals in the Millennium Development Goals. Thus, in order to achieve the status of a developed country, India needs to transform its massive women force into an effective human resource. This is possible only through the empowerment of women. What is empowerment? Empowerment refers to increasing the spiritual, political, social, or economic strength of individuals and communities. Empowerment is an active, multi-dimensional process which enables women to realize their full identity and powers in all spheres of life. Empowerment is a process that creates power in individuals over their own lives, society, and in their communities. People are empowered when they are able to access the opportunities available to them without any limitations and restrictions, such as in education, profession, and lifestyle. Feeling entitled to make our own decision, it always creates a sense of empowerment in us. What is women empowerment? Women empowerment is giving power to women in the society where they did not have it. Women are denied the powers. You give the power to them. That is called women empowerment. It is a process of making them a part of decision process in certain areas where they did not have the power to make decisions. We talk about empowerment because it enables women to have power over their own life. Women empowerment is considered a key to measure the development of a country. It is a part of the focus of the United Nations. How to empower women? Empowerment includes action of raising the status of women. How can improve the status of women? It's through education, raising their awareness, increasing the literacy, providing them training, giving them training related to defense also. Women empowerment is all about equipping and allowing men to make life-determining decisions for the different problems that prevails in our society. This picturizes the family bonding of women. This shows how women play leading roles in our society. Women often forget what she is worth. Always remember that when women move forward, her entire family moves, the village moves forward, and the country and the nation progress. Let us see what are the categories of women empowerment. There are different types of women empowerment. Women must be empowered in all spheres: social empowerment, economic empowerment, legal empowerment, political empowerment, educational empowerment, psychological empowerment. Social empowerment, strengthening women's social relations and their position. You have to, social empowerment calls for addressing for the social discrimination existing in the society based on disability, race, religion, or gender. Social empowerment calls for enjoyment of equal rights, equal status, freedom of self-development with men. When a woman is empowered socially, it safeguards her from domestic and outside violence. It creates awareness about the social evils which prevails in the society. It helps her to acquire status in the society. It enables her for social participation without any discrimination. The next important empowerment is empowerment through education. The former president of Harvard University, her quotation is that, "We educate women because it is smart. We educate women because it changes the world." Educate a woman, it will change the world. Empowerment of women through education is the single most important instrument of socio-political and economic transformation. If one girl child is educated, the whole family becomes benefited. Women need to be given free and compulsory education so that to make them aware of their rights and duties. Education creates self-confidence, self-esteem, self-sufficiency to a person. It brings light of hope, increases social, political, intellectual, cultural, and religious consciousness.
Paper. Please go through only objectives and findings and conclusion. Objectives, findings, and conclusion. Make it brief presentation. Next ಹೇಳ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮಹೇಂದ್ರ. Next.
Oh, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please proceed.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Directly go to the objectives,
Sir.
findings, and conclusion, please.
Yes, sir.
Make it brief presentation.
Okay, sir. So good afternoon, everyone. I, Shweta Kagenawar, research scholar of SGMS Arts and Commerce College for Women, Hubli. The topic of my paper is Women Empowerment Entrepreneurship. The keywords of my paper is women entrepreneurship, women empowerment, economic development, and motivational factor. The methodology I used, the data is collected purely from the secondary source. The objectives of the paper are to understand the concept of women empowerment and entrepreneurship, to identify the impact of entrepreneurship on women empowerment, to suggest some of the possible solutions for encouraging, developing, and improving the women empowerment in emerging economies. So as we all know, women entrepreneurship means the women or a group of women who initiate, innovate, organize, and bear all the risk to operate an organization in order to accept some of the profit out of that are called as the women entrepreneurs. And the government of India is defined women entrepreneurs as women who invest 51% of capital.
Madam, proceed to the result and conclusion, please.
Yes, sir.
Due to shortage of time, kindly proceed to the result and conclusion.
Yes, sir. So the just I'll go through economic women empowerment can be possible only with the help of entrepreneurship. So if a woman involve herself in entrepreneurship means that leads to women development and economic growth, and that leads to social stability. These points contribute for the economic development, and these are the motivational factors of women entrepreneurship. Due to less job opportunity, many women are becoming entrepreneurs, and government is introduced many schemes. These all also help women to become the entrepreneurship. And some of the suggestions and policy implications for the women to encourage them to become an entrepreneur. So these are the policy implications and suggestions of the study. That is, education policy should be designed to create.
Please conclude it, madam. Please conclude it.
Yes, sir. So women empowerment through self-employment is also related to women's ability to gain a control economic resources and to participate more fully in source of building. So empowerment is very essential for the development of the women, and empowerment can be achieved through the entrepreneurship. Thus, so I would like to conclude my paper that empowering women is very essential for the development of the nation. So we can empower the woman by making her to involve herself in the entrepreneurship. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Sweta Gaginawar, madam.
Thank you.
Now I call upon Dr. Bhakti Mahendrakar. Bhakti Mahendrakar, please present your paper. Just objectives.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Please. Due to time constraint.
Sure. No problem, sir.
Brief presentation.
Sure, sir. Just sharing my presentation, sir.
Video.
Sir, is it audible, sir?
Yes. Yeah.
Whether my PPT is visible, sir?
It's visible. Please
Visible,
proceed to the objectives and conclusion.
Sure, sir. Very good afternoon to all the dignitaries and presenters, rapporteur, chairperson of this session. Myself, Dr. Bhakti Mahindrakar Tatuskar, Assistant Professor and HOD, Department of Economics, and today I'm going to present paper on an economic study of women beauticians as self-employed independents of Bijapur city. I will start my paper with a small quote. The thing women have yet to learn is nobody gives you power. You just take it. According to Rosanna Bell. A short introduction. Women entrepreneur is defined as a woman or a group of women who initiate, organize, and run the business enterprise. Government of India has defined women entrepreneurs based on women participation in equity and employment of a business enterprise. Women entrepreneurs constitute only 10% of the number of entrepreneurs in India. This shows a significant growth of self-employment of women. This statistical fact indicates that for the economic growth of nation, women should be encouraged to make their share of economic contribution towards the country. Directly going to objectives. The objectives of my paper are to develop economic profile of women beauticians, to know their standard of living, to study the level of income satisfaction, to offer suitable suggestions on the basis of findings. The methodology which I have adopted are, it is purely on primary data. Personal interviews of 25 women entrepreneurs who are running beauty parlors is conducted to know about their socio-economic profile as well as required relevant information. But the respondents were selected randomly and their names and localities are not disclosed. Importance of this study is, in current era, women entrepreneurship. Yes, sir. Directly going to findings. As per the primary data and as per the 25 samples I have collected, out of that, it is found that in age, age in years and percentage about, that is women between 46 and 50 are of 4%, between the age of 25 and 30 are 20%, 31 to 35 are 28%, 36 to 48 are 32%, and 41 to 45 are 16%. If we check their marital status, it is found that majority of the women are married, that is by 84%. Whereas if you check the education and of women beauticians, that is around 10% are SSLC, 11% are PUC, and only 4% are graduates.
Thank you, madam. Madam, please.
Sir, only conclusion, sir. Last point. Directly, I will move on to conclusion, sir. India is a male-dominated country, and women are assumed to be economically and socially dependent on male members. Women entrepreneurship has a tremendous potential in empowering women and transforming society. Success in business makes women entrepreneurs financially independent and also gives them the strength to overcome setbacks in life. Women entrepreneurs face number of problems like lack of education, social barriers, legal formalities, limited managerial ability, lack of self-confidence, and many more. Government has taken various steps for the upliftment of women entrepreneurs since the 7th five-year plan. Women have the potential and determination to set up, uphold, and supervise their own enterprise in a very systematic manner. Appropriate support and encouragement from family members, society, and government can make women entrepreneurs a part of mainstream of national economy, and they can contribute to the national growth and development in India. So,
thank you, madam. Thanks for your nice presentation.
Small quote, sir. So
now I call upon Dr. Shambhunath.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Shambhunath, kindly present your paper in brief manner, only objectives, findings, and conclusion. Dr. Shambhunath.
Please directly
go to the findings and conclusion, please, sir.
Okay, sir.
Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Shambhunath, guest faculty, Department of Women Studies, Gulbarga University, Kalburgi. Now I am presenting a paper titled on Rural Women Empowerment and Microfinance in India. Objective of this study to sensitize Sorry, sir. Signal problem is there. To sensitize women, target area of the need of SSG and its relevance in the empowerment process, to create group feelings among them, to enhance the confidence and capabilities of women. Research methodology, the study is exploratory in nature and is based on the purely secondary data. Secondary data was collected from various journals, articles, working papers, NGO report, etc. Directly, I am going to conclusion and suggestion. Credit is important for development, but cannot by itself enable every poor woman to overcome their poverty. Making credit available to women does not automatically mean they have control over its use and over any income they might generate from micro entrepreneurs. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice presentation. Now I call upon Sanjeev Kumar. Sanjeev Kumar, please present your paper.
Sir, audible, sir?
Yeah, audible, please.
Sir, myself, Sanjeev Kumar.
Please, findings and conclusion.
Okay, sir. Myself, Sanjeev Kumar, research scholar in Economics, Department of Women Studies, Kannada University, Hampi, Vidyaranya, sir. I will present the topic of entrepreneurship and rural women empowerment. The objectives of the study to explore the reasons why rural women start business of their own. And then second one, to study the characteristics of rural women entrepreneurs empowerment in Karnataka. Then last one, to certainly examine the types problems they encounter in order to reach the level of success. Then reasons for Karnataka rural women becoming entrepreneurs. Women are better at multitasking. Women are perfectionists, women take others into consideration. Problems of rural women entrepreneurs in Karnataka. Problem of finance, security of raw materials, family ties, lack of education, male-dominated society, low risk bearing ability, marketing problems. Here it is conclusion, sir. The emergence of women entrepreneurs, empowerment and their contributions to the national economy is quite visible in India. Even though we have many successful women entrepreneurs in our country, but still we have a male-dominated culture. There are many challenges which women entrepreneurs face from family and society. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your nice presentation. Now I call Sunita C. Sunita C. Madam, please present your paper in brief manner.
Sir, I'll share the screen now. Sir, my screen is visible. Sir, my screen is visible.
Hello.
Sir, screen is visible.
Ashwini and Kavita.
So my screen is visible.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yes, madam, please proceed.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Visible.
It's
Yes,
visible. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sunita Chikvirenava, research scholar of Karnataka Akkamahadevi University. My topic is role of Udyogini scheme in women empowerment. Directly, I'll go to the objectives. The objectives of the study is to study the progress of women Udyogini scheme in Karnataka and to know the impact of Udyogini scheme on women empowerment. So based on this, I have constructed the hypothesis. There is significant progress of Udyogini scheme in Karnataka, and second hypothesis, there is a significant impact of Udyogini scheme on women empowerment. The main part is paper is analysis. So this table shows progress and performance of Udyogini scheme in Karnataka. As per this table, overall physical achievement is 95%, while financial achievement is 100%. It indicates that the quantum of the loan is greater than the physical number of beneficiaries. In case of physical achievement, 3 years have achieved the target of 100% in terms of beneficiaries, but only in 2006 it has shown least achievement. So now I'll go findings. Based on above analysis, the finding shows that there is a positive, significant impact of Udyogini scheme on women empowerment in Karnataka state. Both null hypothesis rejected and alternative hypothesis H1 and H2 are accepted. And the conclusion is that he concluded that Karnataka state is the best state in the world for women entrepreneurs because the government has supported women entrepreneurs through Udyogini scheme, which helped the beneficiaries to start the new enterprises and encourage self-employment. The scheme brought some positive changes in women entrepreneurs, like reduced poverty by increasing their income, improved the capacity of managing risk, and increased self-confidence and participation in the family decisions. The status of Udyogini scheme could also be improved further by Government of Karnataka paying special attention to encourage more and more women to get into entrepreneurship. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your nice presentation. Now I call upon Ashwini Indargi. Ashwini Indargi.
Hello, sir. Oh, okay. I don't want.
Make your presentation brief.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just objectives, findings, and conclusion.
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I, Ashwini Indargi, Assistant Professor from the SGMS Arts and the Commerce College for the Women, Hubli. And my research topic is the women empowerment through the education. My objectives of this study is to study the impact of the women empowerment through education and also to suggest remedies to ameliorate the women empowerment from the current situation. The importance of the women education plays a very important role when we make a comparison with the men education. Just looking at this bar diagram, we can understand where there is a increase in the education in the men and women, but there is a no like equality between the men and the women education. Yeah, the government have to take the proper measures still that the woman education should be given an equal opportunities for the men education. With this simple bar diagram, we can also analyze the women education is slowly increasing from the 1987 to 2018. There are currently 186 million females in the India who cannot even read and write the simple sentence in the any language. Now also we'll go with the women participation in the work. When we make the comparison of the women participation of the rural women and the urban women, there is a very less contribution of the rural women in the work participation. Looking at to the bar diagram of 1993, of 1994 to 2017 and the 18, there was a decline in the women participation in the work. What are the reasons? Means there is an increase in the school enrollments, raise in the household incomes, mismeasurement of the women participation in the labor force, and there is a breadth of opportunities for the women in the non-farm sector. And also the women contribution for the national development, there is agriculture sector.
Yes, thank you, madam. The last presenter, Kavita. May I call upon Kavita?
3 p.m.
Kavita.
Is it audible, sir? Hello? Yes, it is audible. Is it audible, sir? Yes, it is audible, ma'am.
It's audible, madam. Please proceed.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. And is it visible, sir, my screen? Excuse me, sir. Is the screen is visible, sir? Sir, screen is visible or not, sir? Yes, it is visible, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. I am Kavita Sanknoor, research scholar from SJMS Arts and Commerce College for Women, Hubli. The topic of my paper is Economic Empowerment of Women through Regional Rural Banks, a study on Karnataka Vikasa Gramina Bank.
Okay, thank you.
The objectives.
Madam, straightly go to the objectives, madam, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am doing that one. The first objective is to know objectives of regional rural banks, to explain the role of banks in economic empowerment of women in India, to analyze the contribution of Karnataka Vikasa Gramina Bank in economic empowerment. And the research method and the hypothesis are there is the alternative. The null hypothesis states there is no consistency in financing women beneficiaries by the bank in recent past, and the alternative hypothesis states there is consistency in financing women beneficiaries by the bank in the recent past. I will directly.
Yes, sir.
Analysis. Contribution of Karnataka Vikasa Gramina Bank in economic empowerment of women. From the table, we can see here that from 2017 to 2020, the women beneficiaries is showing an increasing trend. In 2017, it was 1,556.26.232, and it has been increased to 2,178 crores. And as a total percentage, average total percentage is 16.991, and the standard deviation is 1.5871, and the ideal standard deviation is it is plus or minus 2. That's why we can say that the advances lent to women beneficiaries by the Karnataka Vikasa Gramina Bank is there is consistency in lending women beneficiaries. That's why the null hypothesis is accepted and the alternative hypothesis is rejected. And the conclusion is economic empowerment of women through regional rural banks in India is
Conclusion. She is in conclusion now.
but very few studies have been highlighted that hence there is a need of the present study, and the Karnataka Vikasa Gramina Bank is one of the leading regional rural banks contributing for betterment of women. The bank is lending consistently year by year to the women beneficiaries, which gives scope to a greater number of women to get awareness and get help and bank to their financial stability and independence, which indicates economic empowerment of women. The bank is even offering special schemes for women. Hence, the contribution of bank for economic empowerment of women is significant. And the bank conducts awareness programs through farmer clubs, but are conducted very rarely. These awareness programs are to be conducted regularly to spread awareness about the financial products and services offered by the bank among rural households and general public with attractive offers. And the bank has to increase the limits on financing women for the further betterment of economic empowerment of women. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kavita madam. Now over to organizer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for successfully handling this session. I would like to thank Professor Revati ma'am and Dr. UK Kulkarni sir for successfully handling the session. Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am. Next session will be sharp at 3 p.m. with Jagrati ma'am as a chairperson and G.V. Somar sir as a reporter. Please join at sharp 3 p.m. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.